So last winter in Florida, I had the opportunity to meet this guy named Josh Whiton from MakeSoil.org, and he was going around giving workshops on composting, or as he calls it, soil making. And it was really interesting. He has a model for a web-based platform that will promote composting or soil making on a neighborhood scale. So you basically get together with your neighbors to make soil. And this will divert all that waste from landfills and sort of being locked up in a landfill and turn it into soil that can be used in gardens. So I think it's an interesting model that has a lot of potential. And like he says in some of this footage, we need more regenerative occupations that are healing the planet and fewer destructive occupations, which is what most occupations are in our economy. But I'll let him explain all this in the rest of the video.
If you're actively composting in here, the microbes will start to devour those leaves. When people start to make soil together, it completes a feedback loop and gives people a perceptive ability to see the situation we're in, to see how we can participate, to see how we can help as individuals. And once people begin to see that we're in a living system, that we can participate in a regenerative way, and once they start doing that, it really changes their minds in a powerful way. So MakeSoil is it's an online platform powering a global movement to help people make soil together. That sounds simple, but we're trying things that have never been tried before, to have that act of making soil together go from a niche hobby like people at a community garden might do to hundreds of millions of people doing it together as just a normal societal activity. So having that go mainstream, that's the real challenge. We want to get away from this idea of people just dropping stuff off and zooming away. Like whenever we go around, people are like, well, you've got to make this so convenient for people that they'll do it. And I'm like, no. Like, saving the planet's not convenient. Taking responsibility for your life isn't convenient. We want people to have an experience of doing something effortful, not overwhelmingly effortful, but just enough to where they walk away feeling empowered, right? So nobody feels empowered throwing something into a waste bin. So this whole message of it's got to be that convenient for people, I'm like, no, I'm completely rejecting that and saying, like, if people put effort into it and carry their food scraps to a soil site like yours and follow the basic instructions that are there to dig them in just a little bit with a hand trowel, cover them over, sprinkle some leaves or mulch on top, and then walk away, they walk away going, hey, that felt pretty good. And then next week they come back and they do it again. They're like, wow, this is a nice little routine. And then the next week they come back and they're like, wow, my food scraps are disappearing. Now they feel like they're actually participating. And this might be probably one of the first experiences they've ever had where they actually feel like they're helping the situation and improving things with their own life in a meaningful, effortful way. So we're going for that feedback loop, not the box and bin culture convenience that we're told is the only way things work today. That's fairly high in nitrogen in liquid. It doesn't have enough dry carbon matter in it, and we're going to balance that with these leaves. Can you spot any other yard stuff that is actually carbon? Like, is there like a banana leaf, or is there any like palm fronds over there? It's really creating an artisanal, soil-based industry that's regenerative, good for people, good for the planet. Ultimately, that will employ hundreds of millions of people, but it's early days, and right now we're just helping people to realize that the earth doesn't belong in a trash can. The platform is global, but it's a global movement to organize people in neighborhoods to make soil together. So we provide a way for someone who is currently composting at home or is willing to learn to put a bin in a place that's accessible by their neighbors, and then to allow their neighbors to start bringing their food scraps there. And that way the neighbors begin to witness the food scraps turning back to soil, and the person who knows how to make soil is getting more inputs for their soil making. Millions of soil sites all over the world, helping hundreds of millions of people to come together to make soil together. It's that simple and it's that difficult. So stage one is just getting the soil sites on the map, like yours. The second phase, which we haven't even begun yet, is to then promote it to the masses. Because what we want is when they go and search the platform for a soil site, we just want to make sure they can find soil sites. So step one, that's why it's gonna seem kind of quiet for a little while, because we're just getting soil sites on the map. We're going around to people who know how to make soil or who are willing to learn. We're just getting their dot on the map, and then once there's enough of those on the map, we're gonna go approach the masses. We'll have to buy ads if we have to. We'll do whatever we can to create a shift in
Or you
mass
could have some
consciousness.
incentive, like, you know, if I get my friend to sign up, I don't know what, you know, or there's some things that do that. Somehow you get a, you get a bonus.
Yeah. When our food scraps go to a landfill, yes, it takes the nutrients out of the food system, and it also rots and produces methane, which is a greenhouse gas we don't need any more of. So making soil out of that instead takes it from this side of the equation where it's a problem and puts it over here where it's a resource, an asset. Who was the woman asking about finished soil? So you just have to imagine this without so many roots. The tree,
Without the roots.
the tree figured out that soil had been finished, aside from that plastic piece, which you can pick them out before or after.
Where did that come from?
So we see all these eggshells, but other than the eggshells, everything has turned back into soil. So all her coffee grounds and banana peels and orange rinds and paper plates all turns back into this dark black soil, which is incredible. So right now, almost no one makes any income off of a regenerative activity here in the year 2019. And we're needing the economy to transition to something where a lot of people earn a living doing something regenerative for the planet. So where do we get our start? Making soil together is one of the most readily available ways to begin having that experience. Making soil together is going to be, and the role of the soil maker is going to be the first regenerative job to go mainstream. People watching this who want to get involved can go to MakeSoil.org, where they can become a soil maker or find one near them. That's going to be our ask to the whole world, is to become a soil maker or find one near you. We need a lot of volunteers. We have a lot of volunteer roles that are open, so if anybody has a few hours a week that they would like to contribute to helping find the soil makers of the world today who don't know about the platform, helping them to invite neighbors into the process, because most people don't. Most people who know how to make soil are doing it in isolation in their backyard. People with technical skills who want to contribute to the platform, who can work on a few tickets a week. We have a highly organized development platform. Team members, there are some roles for folks to be paid, and of course, donations. Every person is 1 to 3 hours away from never having to put their food scraps in the garbage again, and $0 to $200 away from a bin that can serve them for years. You don't even need one if you know what you're doing. So we're just going around and reminding people that they have this agency, that the planet doesn't belong in the garbage, that they don't have to be putting it in the garbage, and that if they were to turn it into soil instead, it would be part of the planet's repair and renewal. And it's time for millions of people to start doing that. Just like millions of people throw things in the garbage now, millions of people making soil out of their food scraps instead.
All right, well, please subscribe to my channel and share and like the video, and I'll see you next time.